What's going on, guys? I'm going to do my update on OCGN or OCGN. That's what I like to call it. So, we talked about a few different scenarios happening on this chart, and pretty sure that it worked out almost exactly as we talked about, besides the fact that we lost some critical support here. Now, as of right now, it is attempting to hold this 0.5 fib, but we're going to want to watch and look deeper into what has gone down now. So the thing that we went over here was that we were looking a little bit overextended right here, but if the thing wanted to get very bullish, or I'm sorry, it was right around here, around this 934, if this thing wanted to get really bullish, it could break and rip even higher. And what ended up happening? Actually, let me change my color. It's supposed to be white so we can see it better. What ended up happening? We ripped. Now, what were the two key zones that we talked about on this channel? We said, if this thing breaks this 948 and holds above, we can play this thing up to either 1060 or 1147. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch my video because I'm pretty damn sure that we talked about this 10 something based off of the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly time frame. And I'm going to have to relook, but let's just take a look on this video while we're here, because I'm pretty sure we gave some pretty accurate ideas. I know it's going to be hard to see. Maybe it was the daily. It was the daily. I'm pretty damn sure we talked about we could come up to this 1070-ish area right here because this Ichimoku cloud has monster resistance, and if we actually were able to clear that, that would be the ultimate breakout zone. If I didn't say that in the video, then it's my bad, but I want to relook and check and see because I'm pretty sure that we talked about it. But either way, if we didn't, my bad. Maybe I just posted it on TradingView about it because I know I posted it about TradingView for sure. But what did I end up doing? I did exactly what I think we talked about in that video. I bought it when I saw it above 948. I loaded up. When did I take my profits? 1055. I closed it all out. However, one thing that I did do that we talked about in the video, I put buy orders at 934. And on my expectations, even though I shouldn't have expected that, was that because this was that long-term resistance, that we would come back down. And I thought we were just going to come down in one wick and rip. While we did come down, I got filled. We came back up. We came down and we broke through. So I was stopped out. I think I lost about $75, unfortunately, on that. We lost the 0.618 fib. And we continued down. Now, of course, this thing can come back up. It can retest this 934. I could wait. I could have waited. And then I could have waited and then put a sell order here. And then exit my position. And then it drops further. But with these type of things, you never know. This thing could have just decided to rip all the way down here. It could have did so many things. So for me, my risk was buy it at that 934, put my stop loss somewhere. I think I put stopped out below this 911, to be honest. I put my stop below the 0.618, and it completely annihilated me. So it wicked all the way down here to what, 858. You never know what it's gonna do, how it's gonna work out. So this was my rising channel idea here. I ended up figuring out 894 is the support of that. We could buy back up to it. I don't know where we are now, but we could buy back up to it. You could get another push potentially up. But we ended up with bearish divergence here on the 1 hours where I spotted it right here. See the RSI peaked up higher here when we hit 934. We dipped. Got that nice dip to the 0.5 fib. We ripped up and then we hit that 1060, but our RSI never made it up higher than this point here, which caused bearish divergence. This thing started to roll. It notched over. That was when we started dropping down. And then we ended up completely tumbling. Now, I had an idea that we could potentially made a falling wedge that brought us here, and then we ripped to the upside, and that's why I was buying this. No confirmation, though. And that's why sometimes it's not the best thing to do, is just buy levels because you think that it might be a perfect buy zone. I mean, look at this perfect touch on that 934. Perfect touches on 934. So, but this is the type of price action that this thing can do. It can lose this support, and it can just completely dump before coming back up and then going for another dump. So that's why I put my risk in the place where I did. I got my profits, made a couple $100 off of this. I didn't go in extremely heavy, but I knew it was a great momentum play. So I was like, I can put in $700-800 in this and make a few $100 off of this few dollar move. So that's what I did. And look where we are now. We're at the 0.5 fib. So what could we do from here? I mean, we do have very thin cloud support here. That's only on the 1 hour. The weekly, we still have all that resistance. So that being said, does that mean this thing's completely done with? No. I mean, even if it came all the way back down here, not saying it will, but even if it came all the way back down here and rode the support, eventually, when this thing does decide to break out, even if it's a few weeks from now, this is where the resistance gets very thin. And that's where, depending on how this plays out, whether it decides to make something that looks like a cup and handle or an inverse head and shoulders. I mean, I personally still believe that this thing's going to have a very big move. It just means that was the first initial spike. And then we need to see some fallback. And where could we fall back to? We could come all the way back down here and find support on this red daily resistance cloud. This would also be a back test of this potential break of this big pattern. That's an idea. If we did, that would bring us all the way back to 762. And it could go, 762. I mean, that looks pretty clean. If we didn't come all the way to it, 780. And then we rip. If we do decide to hold this 0.5 fib, that's not too bad of a spot either. But to me, right now, seeing that this could be some kind of rising channel or rising wedge, then we could end up breaking all the way back down to the start of the move. And the start of the move would pretty much be around that 785, 773. We'll have to see how this plays, how this goes from here. That's a pretty strong rejection candle on the 786 fib. So, I mean, coming back down to 777, 780, as low as 762 maybe. That's something that I'm kind of watching for at this point. So, I mean, I cashed out, and then I lost and gave some of my profits back here. But overall, I think if we do end up trending all the way down, then depending on how long it takes, I mean, the longer we stay down there, the better, just for the fact of if we do trend sideways somewhere in this range here, in the 780s, when we do eventually rip back, it'll be all this resistance here. I mean, I'd like to see it stay a little longer, till about, I mean, that's looking like January, but I don't know how long it would have to consolidate for. It looks like right around, I mean, even November 15th and on, right? If we were to start ripping again on November 1st even, from November 1st and on is right about here. That's right where this red resistance gets really thin. So if we were to blast back up and we actually decided to break through that 1060 around that point, then we can continue and look at, we have blue skies ahead. So that's kind of my idea now. I'm kind of watching. But I mean, it's going to be the same play pretty much up until November 30th. This same resistance of that 948 is still going to be in the play. It's just a matter of, do we want to buy this next potential dip and then run it up? Do we want to buy another confirmation, potential better confirmation, maybe a weekly close above, maybe a daily close above? Daily close didn't really work out because the following daily opened up below, so you'd want a daily and then another daily showing us for sure. But that's where I'm at right now. I mean, luckily I exited, but I honestly thought that the buyers were going to step in at that 934. I was wrong. That's okay to be wrong, as long as you can catch yourself and save your risk. But hopefully this was helpful. Leave me a comment below if you guys did do this little bit of a swing trade that I kind of gave a nice little setup for a momentum play, or if you took profits, if you didn't take profits, if you were in at such a low level you don't even care. What was your move? That's what I want to hear in the comments below. Let me know what you think about these ideas. Have a good night. Peace.